his first meeting with Gascoigne, he hadn't met him yet, but all he could hear was this Geordie fella in the swimming pool playing with Walter's two boys, Neil and Stephen. Gascoigne was playing with Neil and Stephen in the pool, and every 10 minutes the shout would go up, PCDS, right? That's what Gascoigne was shouting, PCDS, right? And what was like, what's this PCDS? What's going on here? And then it took him about 2 weeks later to find out it was a shout to the barman, Pina Colada double strength, right?
I was in my bed one morning, 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and my wife says to me, she said, there's somebody downstairs. She said, I'm telling you right now, she said, there's somebody downstairs. I could hear somebody downstairs. Now, I don't know if you ever had that happen in your house at 3 or 4 in the morning, but it's not pleasant. I jumped up, I got a 3-iron, I'll never forget, I got a 3-iron. I go downstairs, and I can hear noises coming from the kitchen. So anyway, I actually kick open the kitchen door, and what I'm faced with is I recognise the back of Paul Gascoigne in my fridge. Now, this is 3:30 in the morning. He doesn't even turn round. I say, Paul, what are you doing? He still doesn't turn round and tells me, I'm making a sandwich. I said, it's 3:30 in the morning. He said, I know. He said, but I woke up. Now, remember, he lives in the next village. He said, I woke up and I couldn't get back to sleep and I'm hungry and I didn't have any food in the fridge. So my next question, clearly, how did you get in? I said, how did you manage to get in? He said, he says, I remember. He said, remember about 3 or 4 weeks ago, he said, you're on the phone, he said, to your missus, and you told her you left the spare key next to in a wee bag underneath the oak tree. He said, I remembered that, and I just thought I'd come and use your key to go and make a sandwich. Honest to God. So I went back up the stairs, and the missus said, well, what's going on? I said, you're all right. I said, it's only Paul making a sandwich.
As I say, when he signed at Rangers, Walter signed him prior to the Old Firm game. I mean, as you'd imagine, and as you would hope, he trained as he played. Right, we've got the Old Firm game coming up at the weekend, and Gattuso's running about scything people, you know the way, a real terrier type. You know, Walter's going off his head. He said, we've got a game at the weekend, we're playing Celtic. He says, we need to watch some of these tackles. So he shouts to Gascoigne and he says, oh, Gaza, he said, you speak a bit of Italian. He said, tell him to calm down. Tell Gattuso to calm down, there's a game at the weekend. Wrong man. I mean, Walter should have known better. Naivety at best on Walter's part. So what does Gascoigne do? He tells him that the manager wants more off you. If he wants to play at the weekend, you need to show a little bit of level of commitment in the training. So I don't need to tell you, 2 minutes later, the ball gets played up to me and I'm wearing 6 studs down my chest as he tackles me. Walter's going apoplectic on the sidelines, man.
One day he came in and he just walked straight into the middle of the dressing room, right? And I used to sit up at the corner, and I'm thinking, he's normally an early. So he dropped this bag on the floor, and just shouted, right lads! And we all turned and looked at him, and he went, and he smiled, right? And he had this new set of teeth, right? New teeth, right? And we were in tears. I'm telling you, the whole place is in tears. We're off one about 5 minutes later, he says, Coisty, he says, what do you think? I says, what do you think? I said, you could chew an apple through a letterbox with them, man. They're unbelievable, right? So we're all falling about laughing. He says, I've got to be honest. I knew I was struggling. I knew I was really struggling when I left the house this morning. And my dad shouted at me. He said, Paul. I says, what is it, Dad? He went, all the best. His dad says to him, all the best before he went to training with his new teeth. Oh, it was magic. He used to come into training every morning, collar and tie. When we trained at Ibrox, that was just something, the history of the club, 140 years. One morning he's not there, it's 9:45 and we're looking about, where's Gascoigne, you know? The door gets kicked open and he comes in with a pair of waders on, a collar and tie, and he's holding up two of the biggest trout you've ever seen in your life, right? So he was injured and I was injured. So the boys go away in a minibus and they go away training. He said to me, he says, right, come on, Coisty, he says, we'll have a laugh with the fish. He says, right, who's been annoying you? I says, Gordon Jury's been really annoying me. He says, right, get into his pocket, get his car keys. Went out of his car. He comes out with the 2 fish, Gascoigne. One screw, the spare wheel, and I throw the fish in. I go to throw the other fish in, and Gascoigne says, no, he says. So he takes one of the fish out, screws the wheel back on. He finds a compartment in the back seat of this car that you wouldn't know existed, and throws the other fish in there. And he looks at me and says, when he finds the first fish, he'll think that's it.